Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Freaky Codes. If you're like me and spend hours coding, then you know how important it is to have the right tools to make your workflow more efficient, productive, and to be honest, even fun. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 7 VS Code extensions that I think is going to be useful to you going into the year 2025, whether you're a beginner or professional developer. So without further ado, get strapped in and let's get into it. Let's dive. Alright, here in VS Code, the number 7 extension I want to talk about is Transform Tool. So this tool is a really good tool and you could use it to convert from one data format or a data structure or a type to another. So let me demonstrate this. First of all, you search for Transform Tool, which I've already done, and then you install the extension. Install the extension, and whenever you're done installing it, you're going to see an icon appear on this part of the editor. So it looks like a spanner with a screwdriver. You click on it and then you see options: JSON to TypeScript, JSON to Zod, JS object to JSON, and many others. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to click on JSON to TypeScript. As you can see, there's a JSON object here, and you could see that it is transformed to a TypeScript interface on the right hand side. So what this does is that whenever you change the data, like I say good for example here, the change that I made is reflected over in this right hand side of the editor, and you could easily just copy the result and use it somewhere. So where could you use this, or where could this be applied to? I use this a lot when I'm writing React code and I have a JSON API I'm consuming and I want to type the response. What I do is I just copy the example of the response, or maybe the response I got while trying the API out, and just paste it here and then copy the output from here. So it's not just JSON to TypeScript. You could do JSON to Zod if you find that useful, or you could do JSON to GraphQL, or you could even do TOML to YAML. Let me demonstrate this for you. Over here, I can just add good and then say equals to 12, and you see that the result is reflected over on the right hand side. So before we go to the next extension, let me show you one more thing you can do. You can head on to package.json. So here's my package.json. I can say Control A, that is to highlight everything. So you highlight whatever you want to change. So I highlight this part and I right click and I see an option, transform selected text. So once I click on this, I have options to transform this JSON I just selected to whatever the other data type I want to, or data structure I want to change it to. So I will just pick JSON to GraphQL, and as you can see, wow, it's done that for me. So this tool is a very useful tool. You could go ahead and try it out. And number 6 on my list is going to be ToDoTree. So let's head on to the extension icon and let's search for ToDoTree. ToDoTree. So what this does is that, okay, if you have a part of your code that you want to come back to perhaps make changes, to update, or to do something else to fix it, you can mark it with a to do comment, and then it will take care of the rest for you. It will help you organize it and help you in a way so that you could easily find that to do and address it later on. So go ahead and install it. If you want to use it, go ahead and install it, and then you're gonna see an icon appear on this far left hand side of the editor. I'm hovering on it. It looks like a tree. So this is the icon that is going to appear after you install it. So to demonstrate how to use it, I'm going to move to this file recipe.ts, and I'm going to make a comment. For this, I want to perhaps refactor this code. Do not mind the code. Anyways, it's a Express application, but I want to refactor it, or I want to do something later. I want to change it later. So what I could do is that I make a comment and I say to do, I say change, and then make another comment. I say change route path to slash update image. So as you can see, it's highlighted, and it doesn't matter the language you're using though. It doesn't matter the language, Python, JavaScript, Java. Once you make a comment and you use all caps to do, it will be highlighted and it will be captured. So what you could do is that after making this comment and you go over to this icon and click, you're going to see a list of to-dos and the files they are in. So you can see the folders, they are arranged, all the places I've made comments with to do are arranged for me here, and I could easily just navigate and see them. So once you click on the to do, it takes you to the file that you made the comment, or you made the to do comment. Yes, so it takes you to that file. So as you can see, this is a React code that I did something similar. I made a comment with to do, and then I said animate arrow on button hover. So I'm supposed to update this part of the code, and this helps me so that I could organize this and come back to it later. So definitely you could also come over here. If you watch my cursor, I come over here to show flat view, and then I click on it, then it only shows file, and if I click on it again, it only shows the to do. So I love setting it to this point, like where I can only see the to-dos. And moreover, you can filter, like it's like a search feature. You can filter to-dos. So what you do is when you click on this icon, the filter icon, this search bar comes up for you, and then you can type in the word you want to type in. So I'll just type in change and I click enter, and then it's filtered down only those to-dos that have change with it. So those comments I made and they were there is a word called change there, it filtered it down for me over here, so I could just click to go and see them. Easy peasy, and that is it with to do. You could also mark this part as fix me too. I think fix me also work. And then let me just refresh, let me refresh and remove the filter. So you could see fix me appears on this parts of the editor. So that is it for to-dos. So the next extension on my list is GitLens. So let's head over to this extensions part and search for GitLens, and then click on GitLens. What does it do actually? It supercharge Git with VS Code. That means you have Git features and Git annotations in your editor while working. So I'm just going to show you how it works. I'm going to try and increase my screen size for you to see. So if you watch over here, there's a fent text that has you 5 minutes ago uncommitted changes. So it just shows you, it annotates the line that your cursor is on with the commit message that was done and when it was done, by who it was, like by who did the commit. So what it does is that when I move my cursor to this part, to this line, I see who made the commit or who made this change, and when the person made the change, and what commit message that the person used to make the change. For this is me, so it says you, which is me 4 months ago, and I made a commit with first commit when I committed the whole changes at this point. So what I could do is I could also hover over this annotation here, and what I'll see is a pop-up, and you can see more information about the commit and whatever that you want to see over here. So I find this super useful. Sometimes I want to know, who made this change in my code base, or who made this change in this file I'm working on. So I could easily just tell and know the time when the code change was made for that particular line that my cursor is on. So I want to show you something really cool. So if I move over to this part and I say open changes, so let me just do that. So you see what happened. It shows me the changes I've made to this file of recent that I've not committed. You could see it here with fix me and to do. It's highlighting this line with green, meaning that I made changes to this file at this point. So this is a really handy tool. When the file becomes very bulky and maybe you made changes in several places, you could just use this tool to tell exactly where you made changes. You could use this feature of the tool to tell where you made changes. So I could toggle it back to go back to my original file, and then lastly I could click on this icon and then I say toggle file blame. I click on it and then it gives me this kind of, is it a map? It's a kind of map, but it looks like a timeline for me. And what it does is that this part of the code was where I made the first commit, and it shows me that okay, this part of the code was committed 4 months ago and it was among first commit, and this part I did 7 minutes ago is uncommitted, and this part also is among first commit and 4 months ago. So this is a really helpful feature here. You could tell which part of the code was committed at what time. You could just easily see it in a kind of timeline format, which is really nice. So I could toggle this back to go back to my original state, and I could also click here again and say okay, toggle file change, and I see the file change here in my editor. I don't need to split screen. If you watch the first feature I talked about after I had talking about annotation, here this open changes, I had to see the screen splitted. But if you want to just see the changes you made right here in VS Code without in the editor without having that split screen, you can just toggle this part here and go to toggle file changes, and then you could just see the change you've made. So I'll toggle it back. Lastly, I would love to show you that when you install this extension GitLens, there are 2 icons that are going to appear right on this left hand side. We have this GitLens icon and this other one, GitLens inspect. So you could toggle it to see what's actually is in it. So you could make a commit here, you could publish the branch, so you could explore whatever is here. There are more features that I've not talked about. I just started exploring this extension not too long ago and I've fallen in love with it. Like, it's been so helpful. And then you can move to the inspect, and yeah, you could see this green part 4 months ago, uncommitted changes. You could see it here. So this is a very nice tool, and I advise that you explore and check it out. And that will be it for GitLens. The next extension on my list as number 4 will be Thunder Client. So what does this extension do exactly? This extension helps you make API requests here in VS Code, so you could easily test APIs here in VS Code without going to open another application or open another website or whatever to test it. You could test your APIs here in VS Code. So I'm going to head on to the extension marketplace and search Thunder Client, which I've already done, and you click on it and install. I've already done this, so you just install it and wait for it to install. Then you move over to the sidebar on the far left. The Thunder Client's icon will pop up for you. As you can see, it's a cycle with Thunderbolt in it. So you click on it and then you see this part pop up here as a sidebar. So you could see I'm already using it. I found it useful already and I've used it several times. So you could see the request I've made and the APIs I've tested, all local hosts. So what you could do is just you click on new request, and when you click on new request, you have this part over here that you could make your requests with. So let me just go over the interface. So you could change from a get request to a post request by clicking this drop down here. So you could put the URL here. You could put the URL here to test, and then when you put the URL, you could send the request. So let me try this, send, and let's see what happens. So you get the response over here. When you send the request, you get the response over here, and then you could see the headers that was used in making the request, the cookie, whatever. So in case you want to add query param, you could easily do that here. So I can just add a query param good and I add the value as nice. And as you can see, the URL is being modified as you add the query param. You can move over to this place to add more headers. You can see the auth section. You can move to bearer and put your token over here. You could see body. You could make a request with body, whatever body you want to make the request with. So you could easily do this here. And then there are other options too. So I just love using this these Thunder clients to test my APIs instead of going to open another application to use it. I could just use it for free inside of VS Code. But this is the free version. Also, as a quick reminder, there is also a paid version or a licensed version. I think this is the free version, but basically the basic stuff you need you could get from here. And I'm going to move to the next extension on my list as number 3, which is going to be Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS. So this is for my front end folks. You write Tailwind. There's an extension called Tailwind CSS. Let me search for it. Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS Intelligence. So once you install this extension, you get this intelligence for Tailwind added to your editor. So I'm going to head over to, let me Control R and pick a front end. Okay, I made some changes. I say yes, and I pick a front end application that I use Tailwind. So once you install that, you have these annotations added for you. You could easily, okay, not annotation, you could easily have this autocomplete feature added for you in Tailwind once you're writing classes. So I say width, and yeah, you see options here, not just the options popping up. You could see this pop up telling you what the width would be in px when you choose whatever option. This is so beautiful. I could tell that, okay, once I use W-2, I have a width of 0.5 rem added, and I have it at 8px and whatever. So this is very, very useful, and I find it useful. It actually saves me time. I don't have to think when using Tailwind. When working with Tailwind, I don't have to think about the classes too much. I could just do on my Linux control space bar, and I get all these suggestions. So you could move down to see more. So I get all these suggestions I could use, and it comes in really, really handy. So let me just use background, and I use my favorite color, 1E90FF. It's not my favorite color, but I just love using it to encode it. So I use this, and you can see that there's a small annotation showing the colors, and you can the color, and you can easily change it. You could easily toggle it, move it as you love or as you want. So let me just show you. I could move it and it will just reflect over here. So this is a really, really beautiful tool. Once you have Tailwind installed and you install the extension, you have this autocomplete feature with the suggestions for you. Then the next tool on my list I'm going to move to is called dependi. So this is a very nice tool. I'm gonna go to the extension marketplace to search for dependi. So we have it here, dependi. What it does is that it empowers developers to efficiently manage dependencies and address vulnerabilities in certain languages like Rust, Go, TypeScript, JavaScript. So what it does is that it helps you, it shows you dependencies that are okay that you could use, and then dependencies that could have errors or security issues that it just warns you of it, and then you could take it off your project project. And you could also use it to generate a report for the dependencies in your project. So I find this very useful. If you're somebody that is working on project that you have to be careful of the dependencies you're using, this tool is going to come in handy for you. So I'm just going to move to package.json and wait for it to come up. Sometimes it takes a while to come up. I'm just going to wait for it to come up to do its thing and check for dependencies online. All right, I think it's taking a little while. I'm just gonna open another editor anyways, and then let me go to recipe app and let me go to package.json. With that, it's gonna pick it up. So what it does is that it makes this annotation by the side with a check mark, either with a check mark or with an exclamation red mark or a cross. If it is a green check mark, it means that the dependency is good to go, is up to date. There is no security concern that you should worry about. So if it is an exclamation mark, then it didn't really get information about that dependency that you have installed. And if it's an X mark, it means that there is either a security issue or a vulnerability, whatever, and there's something wrong with the dependency you installed. And then you could go over and hover over it and check for other dependencies or other versions that it suggests to you. So yeah, so it's here right now. I think my internet was slow, that was why I didn't get the annotation at first. You see that I canceled this, and then this is good to go. Marks this, it marks CORS. Then this, I think, say no versions found, so it couldn't find a version, and so it just marks it with an exclamation mark as I described. So you can see no other part of this file is affected, just the dependencies and dev dependencies. So we have it over here. It marks this as good, it crosses this out, so you could just see what I was saying in real time now. You could see what I was trying to explain right here. So when you go over here, I think, is it this? I'm trying to check something. So yes, you could click on these three icons over here, and you see generate vulnerability reports compared to the latest dependency commits, and generate vulnerability reports. Generate vulnerability reports the current dependency. So you could click to generate. Okay, invalid API key. You have to set an API key. There's a setting to set an API key which it will use to make that report, and which I don't have currently. So you can go ahead and explore and check out how to set the API key and go ahead and generate a report for your dependency. So the last but not the least, as number one on my list, is ErrorLens. So let's head on to this extension marketplace, and then we search for ErrorLens. So this is the extension right here. So after you get this installed, even from the GIF here, you can see what it does. It annotates your code with the errors. Like for a line, if there's an error in a line or a warning, it shows you at the side. So this helps me to easily spot errors in my code. Where I make error, just that place is shining red, and there's a text there at the side for me to just spot that, okay, there's a problem here and you should go fix it. So I'm going to demonstrate by going to this recipe.ts file, and I'm going to deliberately make an error. So what can I do to to make an error? So easily I can just cancel this, and you can see here that's annotated this line with expected, closing bracket expected. So you could see the feature working right away. So when you make mistakes or there's a warning or whatever, it shows it by the side. And I love this because I could see the error or the warning before time, and I could attend to it so quickly. And I could also see the message by the side. That is, if it is not too long. Sometimes it gets too long that you need to hover to see it in a compact way. But if it's not too long, you could see the error message at once and just go ahead and fix it. So that is it for the 7 VS Code extensions that I feel will be useful to you in the year 2025. You can go ahead and try any of them. You can go ahead and play around with them. You could also suggest in the comment section extensions you've found useful in your workspace so that others can pick them up and use them and learn that there's from you based off your experience. So go ahead and also give me a like, and go ahead and subscribe if you find my content interesting. And this is my first video, you guys. This is my first video on YouTube. So go ahead and give me a like. Go ahead and give me a subscribe. Smash that subscribe button just to support me. I'll see you next time. Thank you.